Hey guys, this is HTOMario, and I'm going to be showing you a Terran against Terran game. In this game, we are going to learn a specific push, a specific way to be aggressive, and a little update on how I handle Terran against Terran Mech. So, the opening is pretty relatively the same, but in this game, I see a chance to exploit the enemy player, and I actually failed to completely exploit him, but I was able to do some damage, so it turns into a macro game. And we're gonna go ahead and cover this game. I did play this on stream, but I only had like 20 people watching at the time, and then my wrist got really bad, so I needed to stop almost immediately after streaming for only like an hour. So yeah. Anyway, I want to cover this game. I scout that he's got gas going on, and normal barracks, normal timing. I'm going to put my barracks over here, just in case of the marauder proxies. So I haven't been putting them here at all anymore. Sometimes I do, but not recently. I open up with a Reaper this game, because I've really been wanting to scout him, and I put a supply depot here, so that I can check for like drops faster, or buildings flying in from here to try to build stuff. And then after the Reaper I get a reactor. I have this SCV watching this watchtower, and I actually see that Reaper go down, but I wasn't paying attention to it. And here I see his Reaper, I see that he's got a tech lab, and I try to sneak away out of there, and I do end up getting out of there with this Reaper. And back home, I've dropped after the reactor, I dropped a command center, and then a factory, and then now another gas. And then in a moment, I'll have to add on another supply depot. So, now that my Reaper is safe, I'm just gonna scan over here, or move over here real fast. I thought I saw something, but I was wrong. In thinking that there was a building here, so I retreat, and he sees, he tries to pressure up, so I send my Reaper back to come help defend. But I have to be careful. His two Reapers could have taken down my two Marines, but I have another two Marines right now, and I had to be careful. I made sure that it was clear with these Marines so that my Reaper could reconnect with the army. And then I get an engineering bay and a starport, and the reason for this being is I saw that he had a tech lab here, and I was like, it's gotta be Banshee. So, Banshee or, quick bio, but I was 99% sure it's most likely Banshee, so that's why I got the Widow Mine and the engineering bay. But I scan him, and I see, oh look, he's getting a third command center really fast, and, because he's most likely going over here, that's why there was an SCV here, and he's getting his reactors, and he's getting stim, which means outside of these Reapers, he's not going to have many units. So I decided to exploit that by getting medevac, siege tank, and a few Marines, and from here I'm going to try to do a timing push, but first I want to kind of see if I can do some damage to these Reapers, because they were poking in, so I put the Widow Mine here, but I don't see him at all. And I take my expo, so I can drop meals there while I'm attacking, and not, waste them on my main mineral line in case the attack fails. Also, need to just grab it. Excuse me. Need to just grab it, and I decide to push out with my siege tank and my medevac. And then I rally everything in just a moment down to this location, so I can. His Reaper actually kills my Reaper here. But I rally it down to this location so I can group up here before I push onto this ramp and risk being surrounded. And now you'll see that the rally has changed. And then I'll drop my mules over here. And once after the supply depot gets done, I keep up my production of SCVs. And you can see that I was right. He did get the reactors, and he doesn't have that many units out at all compared to me. And I take quite a bit of SCVs, like 8 of them. So, siege tanks, they outrange bunkers. You can just have them on siege, but if he's got a lot of SCVs repairing him, you really do want to siege up and target down the SCVs, which is what I do here. And kill quite a few of them. And then I want to kill this bunker, and he moves back into this one. So I knew that stim would be a little while off, so I'm not quite sure how much time I have, so I'm trying to move fast in my push. I could have moved faster, but that's really dangerous. And back at the base, I'm getting another command center and getting another gas geyser, because you know, this is just a small push. I only have a few SCVs here, and I'm rallying stuff over, but it's most likely not going to. If it kills them, that's awesome. But just in case, I wanted to get another base, and I target fire some of these SCVs, and he takes a tank shelling, so that's always good for me. Now he sacrifices his bunker, but I was able to kill it. And then let me lower this even more. And here comes the attack, and he sends his SCVs first, and I'm trying to pedal my way back just a little bit in between firing out shots, but he was able to overpower me with the stim. And this isn't that great for me, because now I lost a lot of units, so I'm trying to retreat back to my base with all the units that I have. I also wanted to kill this Reaper from the watchtower. Yeah, so now I retreat back with all my units, and I realize, hey, I spent up quite a bit of gas, because I got this gas geyser and I had these going, so I'm going to drop 2 factories and continue marine tank production and get my 4th gas geyser, since this command center is almost done. Once you're on 3 command centers, you really should have all 4 gas geysers, because you won't be able to spend all the minerals. And I also decide to get a turret ring, since I can get medevacs out. He might be able to as well. And he pushes up here with the tank and marines that he has. And yeah, I want to make sure he can't drop me, because I have such limited units, I can't split them up. So I have to be really careful, and I throw down a bunker here just to be safe. Oh, I had it on a really slow setting, sorry. And I also get a Viking to help spot for drops, or to help take out medevacs, or a sight, like with the medevac. It's also good for sight, but like to kill his sight in case he's using a medevac, and to make sure he can't push out further, I put my medevac over here so I can spot his tanks. So if he tries to get close, I'll automatically fire at him, instead of him getting close and then scanning, because the siege tank has farther range than what it can see. I get an armory, and I go up to 5 factories. This is so I can spend as much gas as I can into siege tanks as fast as I can, and they're all going to be tech labs except for 1 reactor, and then whatever is left over, I'm going to be making Hellbats. I'm also going to be making Vikings, so in between the Vikings, I'm going to be dumping all my extra gas into like an upgrade here and there, but into a lot of siege tanks, and then whatever factory isn't busy, I'm going to be producing Hellbats, and then using the excess minerals to expand or supply depots and stuff like that. So this allows me to make quite a bit of units really, really fast. But I'm playing kind of vulnerable because, well, I figured he could drop me, but I spent so much resources on getting these units. You can see I'm making like 2 tanks at a time and 2 Hellbats right now, because I spent a lot of my infrastructure, or my economy, on this infrastructure, and I want to do a Hellbat drop. And I got my upgrade going now, so that took a bit of gas. But now it's getting a little easier to start massing units, so I'm getting like 2 tanks at a time, or up to 3 tanks at a time now, and then like 3 Hellbats. So the more it stabilizes, like once I get my new gas geysers from here, I'm doing a little bit of drop harass. You don't always have to drop, by the way, you just have to have the threat there and he might not move out. But once I get these gas geysers, I can really explode in creating my tanks, because I already have 5 factories, and then I have a reactor for my Vikings now. Since I do have these geysers, I can afford to make 1 more Viking at a time on top of this explosion of tanks. And I scan his army to see where he was going, so I try to defend here a little bit, and I try to get the watchtowers with Hellbats. Hellbats are pretty good at getting watchtowers. They can take quite a bit of damage, so I sent 2 down here to kind of scout him out, and I see, okay, he's got his medevacs here. So I really wanted to get this watchtower, because if he's got this one, he can only really attack up here, and I was defending that. But with this one, I can see attacks coming in this direction. So I do see the attacks, and I seize up some in the back just in case he runs in, and then I siege my rest, and I target fire down the tanks, and then I go ahead and proceed to take out his army with my siege tanks. So I have a huge amount of them, and I'm building quite a few more. Well, some of them just stopped, but that was the game. One of the problems was after my attack, he was down to half my workers with a little bit of pressure I did, and he was forced to pull a lot more SCVs simply because I pulled some SCVs, and ahead of like a Widow Mine, he was forced to really pull a lot to try to hold me off, and then he received a ton of splash damage. So with him not being able to attack me and kill me right away on the counterattack, I was able to pull much farther ahead of him. And then with the amount of factories I had, once I had my third base gases, it was an explosion of economy, and he would not have been able to outproduce me. He was still on, just these few, and he's got actually a lot of resources. So at this stage he should have dropped like 5 barracks or something like that. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this game.